Well, honestly, just astounded at what I was looking at because, I mean, the cinematography was gorgeous and a lot of the shots looked like it was a painting. I love the soundtrack, and not being someone who was like unfamiliar with the story coming into it and being exposed to it was just felt, I don't know, it was really beautiful.
I came into this experience not knowing what to expect. I'm almost upset that I hadn't heard of her story before watching the film. It really affected me in a very monumental way, and I'm ashamed by that. I wish I would have known earlier. It's a story that is going to stay with me for a very long time.
I'm pretty awestruck. It was a really incredible movie. You don't see a lot of epics these days, you know? I think this is the first epic I've seen in our modern era in a really long time. You know, I think of like Lawrence of Arabia, I think of almost like just like biblical scale just in the events that take place and just all the characters and everything, and how all these like past events in history that happened, you know, 2,000 years ago still affect us today in modern society.
I feel really inspired. I can't believe I'm just finding out about the story now.
It's hard to say, I'm speechless. It's honestly the first time I hear about the story of this character, and I was surprised. It's such a unique character with a unique story, powerful story, something, you know, that makes you think and makes you feel emotional at the same time.
I feel pretty emotional. I think it was a really moving story, and I'm actually kind of surprised that I've never heard this story before, which I feel kind of bad about, but it's just it's a pretty amazing female story. So yeah, I feel like super moved, like I need to take a moment to absorb everything.
I was not familiar at all with the story, surprisingly. So it was just really interesting to learn about, see the modern setting contrasted with the text. And it was really interesting to learn about the text and kind of, it was like a history lesson, you know? So I felt like that was pretty powerful to learn. And I felt, it was odd that felt strange that I didn't know the story anyhow.
I'm honestly feeling really emotional. I'm not really an emotional person, and I wondered if I'd get driven to tears, but by the end I was crying, so that's how I feel upon watching the movie.
Just as many intense scenes that there was a balance of beauty, and there was a balance of unity and love and faith and loyalty. And I think sometimes it's so hard to say this, but it's almost like you have to take the good out of the bad, you know, and just kind of soak up what you can out of the situation and try to understand how to make that situation better for the people coming in the future.
I feel like it was kind of difficult to watch some of the tragic scenes, but I think just as another woman, identifying with her as another woman, you know, I just wanted to protect her and kind of keep her safe.
Well, you know, a character like that makes you feel like you want to, you know, you wish you could protect her, you could be by her side, you could do something for her. The way she sacrifices herself for the good of others is something that really makes a strong impression.
It was like visceral. Like when you see Fatima get attacked when they're outside of Ali's house, it was just like primal, just like the fear that you feel when you're sitting in the theater for her unborn child, for the entire family. it can be really crushing at other times, but at other times really beautiful. And I think the message is still very much important today.
Anger. You know, a part of you wishes you were there to protect her. A part of you is sad that she had to experience that, but what that pain ultimately led to for the rest of us.
The biggest thing that I took away was just like the importance of stories. Like I feel like we forget a lot of the times, like when we go to see a movie, like it's a story, but like this movie in particular had like a story within a story within a story. Like you're getting so many different perspectives from people, and the time jump. So like it's going 1400 years ago, and then by the end, like complete 360, we were sitting there like, what was happening? Because then there's a story about this kid stopping this other kid, and like a line that he says was he was trying to convince the kid that was about to like commit suicide bombing that if he could tell him the story of Lady Fatima, that he would maybe reconsider the harm that he was about to bring. And I think that a lot of us, mainly artists, think that that's the power we have when we're making film or TV or whatever. It's like that this story could possibly save somebody's life. And I think that's sort of like what I took away from it.
Oh my God, everything. I mean, she's the best of us. The absolute best of us. She lived her life the way that we all aspire to, or the way we all should aspire to. I think that the biggest takeaway is to do that, to honestly like have her in your mind. Now she's gonna be a constant presence in my life, which I didn't think before watching the film.
Definitely just the fact that she, martyred herself in for a greater cause.
I think the movie is really about persistence, holding on to your beliefs, even in the face of like incredible pressure to abandon your beliefs, to remain strong and true to what you believe. True to what you know in your heart is like the truth, the higher truth.
Well, she has sort of, sort of compassion, a kindness that stays with you, and it's how she gets through everything that happens to her while keeping this kind soul that makes her like really different and unique among all those characters.
The message of peace and love, and how that universally translates through any sort of religion, and the divisiveness that it creates when people cling to power.
I feel like fundamentally this was a film about compassion, which I really appreciated, because it feels like in the kind of polarized and difficult times we're living in right now, we need to see more movies about compassion. So for that reason, everyone should see this film. And I kind of feel like she just had a good heart, and that's what came through. And it was a story about kind of love and compassion and kindness winning through her.